Om Shri Ganeshaya Namaha. Om Vakratunda Mahakaya Suryakoti Samaprabha Nirvignam Kurume Deva Sarvakareshu Sarvada. Om Shri Ganeshaya Namaha. Om Namo Narayanaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Shri Swaminarayanaya Namaha. Om Shri Hari Krishna Maharajaya Namaha. Shri Sadgurubhyo Namaha. Welcome to SwaminarayanSpirituality.com and the related podcast channels and other formats. This is Sachin Karnik. Today is the 19th of April 2024. I'd like to offer my prostrations to all the great sages. Dhyanamulam Gurur Murti, Mantramulam Gurur Vakyam, Pujamulam Gurur Padam, Mokshamulam Gurur Krupa, and to the Supreme Lord residing in the heart of all beings. With that bhavana, we are continuing our detailed study, exploration, and analysis of Shri Vachanamrutam that is originally in Gujarati, spoken by Shri Sajanand Swami Maharaj, who is also known as Bhagwan Shri Swaminarayan in the Swaminarayan Sampradaya and in the Sanatana Dharma more recently. I am continuing here on Vachanamrut Garada Pratham number 11 and continuing further on the second question that was raised by a householder devotee, Sheth Govardhan Bhai. He is a businessman who is also a very enlightened and awakened being, a devotee of Shriji Maharaj, and he has asked a very significant and applicable question about Maya. The question of Maya is always on the mind of so many individuals because this concept has evolved over time, over thousands of years. It is not something that just came about during Shriji Maharaj's time. This was there, much, much earlier, from the Vedic time, Upanishadic time, even probably before that. This, the concept of it, the construct of it, the way different acharyas have talked about it. So, Shriji Maharaj has given an answer, which I already mentioned in past many recordings, that is very applicable in terms of sadhana. When a sadhak is doing sadhana, there is activity deliberately done. So there's three words to understand: sadhak, sadhana, and sadhya. Right? So I'm going to try to present Vachanamrutam in the more universal spirituality of Shriji Maharaj, and then also presented in terms of the sampradaya itself, the current sampradaya that has been developed over 240 years, something like that. And then what are the interpretations, what the gurus have taught, and then the particular understanding of many intricate ontological, spiritual, and highly intricate ideas within the sampradaya itself based on this Vachanamrut itself. Right, so there's many, many ways to try to understand the truth, because the truth is only one. Ekam sat vipraha bahuda vadanti. But that truth that Shriji Maharaj is talking about ultimately is only one truth, and that is Bhagwan Purushottam, Bhagwan Paramatma. That is Shri Aksharatit, Akshardhamadhipati, Parabrahma Paramatma. That is the one singular, ultimate, one without a second tattva, from a tattva point of view, that is elaborately described in Shri Vachanamrutam. This idea is not just an idea. It is an idea, but it is not just that. It also is not contradictory to any of the other acharyas. All the acharyas that came, Shankaracharya ji, Madhvacharya ji, Ramanujacharya ji, Nimbarkacharya ji, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, and so many others who have come in their different paramparas, as well as many other paramparas throughout the Sanatana Dharma, whether it is Gnaneshwar Maharaj, Tukaram Maharaj, whether it is Guru Dattatreya in the Avadhut Gita, in all the different Vedanta scriptures, all the different Bhakti Sampradaya scriptures, and also the other religions of the world. They are all synchronized, as per my opinion at least, and I would say others would agree, they are all synchronized and held in very good collaborative interconnection in the Vachanamrutam. And it is on that basis that Maharaj is giving his own realization of the ontological reality that is what we call God or the Brahman or the ontological ultimate reality. So I'm going to try to bring in some philosophy ideas in here because they are all connected together. Ontological means being. Who am I? What am I? What is God? What are the Ishvaras? So the ontological realities are also described amazingly in Vachanamrut. So the areas of philosophy such as epistemology, ontology, ethics, aesthetics, what is the beauty, the study of beauty, phenomenology, philosophy of mind, everything is in Vachanamrut. There's nothing left out. And so we're going to try to open it step by step, point by point. It is an oceanic endeavor, but we shall do what we can by the grace of the sages. And may the Lord Bhagwan and particularly all the Gurus, Shri Ganeshji, Shri Mahaganapati, who is the Lord of the intellect, may he bless us all in trying to explore and understand these phenomenal ideas, phenomenal truths that are in Shri Vachanamrutam. So with that, I'm going to continue now further from last time with regards to the question of Dhyan. Shriji Maharaj answered Govardhan Bhai's question. First of all, what is the question? I'm going to repeat the sentence just for a review. ત્યાર પછી હરિભક્ત શેઠ ગોવર્ધનભાઈએ શ્રીજી મહારાજ પ્રત્યે પ્રશ્ન પૂછ્યું છે, જેને ભગવાનની માયા કહે છે તેનું રૂપ શું છે? પછી શ્રીજી મહારાજ બોલ્યા છે, ભગવાનનો ભક્ત હોય તેને ભગવાનની મૂર્તિનું ધ્યાન કરતા જે પદાર્થ આડું આવીને આવરણ કરે તેને માયા કહીએ. By the way I have read this is how traditionally Vachanamrut is read out loud. In the temples, in the different places, throughout the Sampradaya, Swaminarayan Sampradaya, it is read respectfully and with adoration in this type of a style. So that is why I'll be reading it that way, just to respect that tradition. Now, it is really amazing what he has written here. So remember the question here. Question Govardhan Bhai asked is, what is the form of Maya? Bhagwanni Maya tenu roop su chhe, right? Bhagwanni Maya kahe chhe. It is known that this is God's Maya. Traditionally. In the Gita also, Bhagwan Krishna says, Maya is mine. All of the incarnations state that the Maya is mine. Vedanta, Advaita Vedanta says that the Maya is the Brahman's power. Right? So it is very interesting that it is God's power. The consciousness has some dynamic power from an Advaitic standpoint. Even a great non-dualist such as Rupert Spira, for example, he has stated that this is a modulation. The energy modulation of the one supreme consciousness is the dynamic flow of Shakti, and that can be considered to be Maya. I don't know if he's used the word Maya or not. I don't want to misquote him, but we can interpret it that way here also. Now, Maharaj, I'm just going to, for short, I'll say Shriji Maharaj or Maharaj, which simply means Swami Sajananji Maharaj, or who is known as Shri Swaminarayan Bhagwan. Maharaj gave this answer in terms of sadhana. Sadhana meaning, in which sadhana? Dhyan. This is no ordinary sadhana. Well, why is that? Dhyan is one of the 8 stages, angas, in the Ashtanga Yoga. So what are those 8 stages? They are Yam, Niyam, Asan, Pranayam, Pratyahar, Dharana, Dhyan, and Samadhi. So Dhyan is between Dharana and Samadhi. This is very, very interesting. So he didn't use other language. He put Dhyan deliberately inside here, inside this answer. Dhyan means that there is a unbroken flow of the activity of the antakarana and the senses are included in this, the unbroken flow of vritti, V-R-U-T-T-I, towards the murti of God, towards the manifested Vigraha avatar or the human manifestation. And also, one could also say the human manifestation of sages who are holding God within. But another way to put that also is perfectly fine. Now, we did start talking about what each of these stages actually entails. I am definitely going to cover that, but I won't cover that right now. I think we did Yam and Niyam and Asan, maybe begin with the Asan stage at some point. It's a subject in itself, it's a topic in itself. But in short, for now, because I want to go somewhere else with this today, in short, for now, Dhyan is just one step before Samadhi. Now, this is very interesting because Maharaj's answer really is about the detection intrinsically, intrapsychically, experientially about what exactly is Maya. It is not, the answer is not a deep, philosophical, abstract answer, which could also have been given here. And those kinds of answers are also given in other places in Vachanamrut, but they are not impractical. Maharaj's, all of his answers have a practicality to them, although there is profound philosophy behind it. So here the answer is the practicality of sitting in meditation, sitting on the intention to connect with the murti of God. He says it very clearly, Bhagwan ni murti nu dhyan karta. He's not talking about just any form. Many times, people who do meditation, they might be meditating on just anything at all. I mean, like on a tree or the open sky, or maybe this or maybe that, maybe some flame, or just for concentration purposes. That kind of dhyan is there also. There's open sky meditation, there's nature meditation, there's gazing meditation, there's all kinds of meditations, thousands of types. Right? So Maharaj is not discounting those, but in his perspective, as per my understanding of this at least, and study of this, of Vachanamrutam, for the activity of liberation, to be liberated from ignorance, Shriji Maharaj is emphatically clear that the meditation, meaning dhyan, is to be on God, on Bhagwan, Murti of God. What if somebody says, wait a minute, what about this idea that Ishavasya Midam Sarvam, God is present everywhere, the Brahman is everywhere, why not meditate on all just abstractly, like I am that I am, or just abstract oneness? The Bhagavad Gita answers that question, that it is difficult to do that. The strain on the mind is extensive. There's, in the beginning of chapter 12, that is answered. So there is a great difficulty if one is trying to realize the Brahman without the Murti of God. Now this point is also very interesting. The Vivek Chudamani talks about the difference between the Atma and the three bodies. The Atma and the Jagat. The Atma is Satyam, that is Brahman. The Jiva-Atma and the Brahman are qualitatively the same. That's Vivek Chudamani. Shriji Maharaj 100% accepts this point, but doesn't stop there. Now, let's stay with that point for a moment. Of course, Jivatma and the Brahman are the same, but the separation between the Jivatma and the world that it is entangled with, the Atma and the Anatma. In Vachanamrut, somewhere in Sarangpur section, Maharaj describes, he uses these two words. It really is from Advaita Vedanta. And see what he says about this. He says that the differentiation between the Atma and the Anatma, the Viveka between the two, in the opinion of Maharaj or in his experience or his statements, it is only possible through the Upasana and the Ishta Nishta. How much Nishta, meaning intense faith in Ishta Devata, the more one has that, to that extent this separation occurs. Otherwise it will not occur. This is what is written in Vachanamrut Sarangpur. I have to look it up, the exact reference. This is very interesting. There are those who try to realize the Atman or the Brahman without the udhyan of the Murti of God. Any kind of Murti, the Murti of Paramatma, Vigraha. They try to realize it that way. You can try. Maybe you can realize something. Maybe some glimpse of the Brahman might come. Who knows? You have to find out for yourself. But it's extremely and extraordinarily difficult to do that. So Shriji Maharaj is saying that's bring about absolute absorption, uninterrupted absorption and link with the Murti of God. That is why he's using the word dhyan. You see? And the detection of Maya is such that once we try to reach the stage of dhyan, through ekantika dharma, through bhakti, jnana, vairagya, dharma, jnana, vairagya, bhakti, when we try to achieve this by grace of Guru, grace of saints, all kinds of obstructions come about that we can detect. And those obstructions that experientially are known or seen, those obstructions which Maharaj is calling as avaran, adu avine avaran kare, padarth adu avine avaran, padarth meaning objects that are in our brain, in our mind. They come and block, they come and obstruct this internal connection with the Murti of God. That those objects, those people, places, situations, stories, circumstances, etc., which is the entire content of the psychological mind, those obstructions can be detected and they shall be known as Maya. Tene Maya kahiye. They shall be known as Maya. See how practical this is. Practical, experiential, and you'll notice the difficulty. If we sit just for 5 minutes with any of the Ishta Devatas in Sanatana Dharma or other traditions also for dhyan, what happens? Our mind goes in 1,000 directions. Dhyan is not something anybody can do just like that. There is preparation required for it. Again, one reason why this question is answered this way is because Govardhan Bhai is a very advanced sadhak. He's very illumined already. So Maharaj is already speaking at a very high level with dhyan in that sense. But it's also a very practical guidance for everyone who is starting the spiritual path. Because when we start the spiritual path, it begins with devotion to a large extent. Bhakti bhav, shraddha, faith. So I'm also going to now refer to some of the footnotes and some of the commentary written in the BAPS app that is available for free download. Please note this is just a reference. I'll be giving my own comments on this. This is not an endorsement or any kind of a criticism of the BAPS organization or any organization. And I do offer my respects to the people who have created this free app. Just using it as a reference here, and you're welcome to go into it for your own study in more detail. In my opinion, they have done an extraordinary job here. From their point of view, of course. There are others, organizations, they may have a slightly different approach to writing some of these comments. And then you may have your own based on your own independent study. So they have written a statement here in their particular pop-up, because the way the app is created, when you click on the word dhyan, which is in the bold black letters, then it's in Gujarati, then this commentary pops up. So I'm going to refer to that now here. They've written a really beautiful statement. I'll read it in Gujarati, and I think I said it at some point in the past also, but I'm going to go into it a little bit further here. That is, Bhakti Margma Dhyan એટલે ભગવાનની મૂર્તિનું એકાગ્રતાપૂર્વક ચિંતન. What does it mean? In the path of devotion, now see this point. The previous path that they themselves have put in there, in the commentary, is about Ashtanga Yoga. They've just given what is the position of Dhyan in the Ashtanga Yoga. That is Ashtanga Yoga path. But in the path of Bhakti, Bhakti Marg. Marg means path. In the path of Bhakti, Dhyan is considered to be totally interlinked, intersecting, interconnected, one-pointed, single-pointed, contemplative absorption in God. This is my translation and somewhat of an interpretation of the two words ekagrata purvak chintan. Ekagrata purvak chintan. How amazing this is. This is where Ananda opens up. If we want to open the dimension of the Atma, we want to clean up the mind, purify the mind, stabilize the mind, these things about all of these subjects are discussed in our morning nitya satsang, which are actually quite preliminary to Vachanamrut. So here directly, there is a beautiful way to understand Dhyan in terms of the path of devotion, Bhakti Marga. And this is the path that is advocated for in the Vachanamrut. It is Bhakti Marg. It is a path for the masses. It is a path that everybody can follow. Now, in this path, but it's not a simplistic path. It is a straightforward path. It's not like a childish path. It's not like that. Some people consider a bhakti, what is this bhakti? Sab childish baat hai. No, it's not like that. It is a glorious path. It is an extraordinary path. But in this path, there is a beautiful Swami Sevak relationship. Bhakta Bhagwan relationship. What does this mean? That Bhagwan, meaning God, Paramatma, beyond Akshara Brahma, is manifested in front of me. During the time of Maharaj, those who were the devotees of Shriji Maharaj, they believed and considered, and as it comes in the Vachanamrut also many times, that Paramatma that is beyond Akshara Brahma, that 16-year-old Kishore Murti, not male or female, Satchidananda Vigraha, even beyond Akshara Brahma, that is manifested in the form, in the human form as Shri Swaminarayan Bhagwan, or who was given the Diksha name Sajanand Swami. Any name could have been given. The name is name is important, but the Nami, the Tattva is important. Shriji Maharaj himself has talked about himself. When we get to that point, at some point we will, by the grace of God, Garada Madhya 13, Maharaj has talked about himself there. That Kishore Murti that is within the Akshar Dham, beyond the Akshara Brahma, the Dhami, that Tattva is manifested here. And he is asking the devotees and the Paramahansas to see him as that Tattva, not as a him or a her, or not as the physical form only. The physical form is a form taken, it is divine also. No doubt, because when a divine being comes, the physical body is also divine. That's another subject altogether. We'll talk about that some other time. About the shariri difference we have, but that difference from a Maya point of view is not there in the incarnations or very enlightened high-level sages. Another subject for another time. It does connect with the question of Maya, but in a different way with regards to the Swarup Nishta. We'll talk about that some other time. Alright, let me see if I can get back on track here, because everything is so highly interlinked here. I have to try to stay on one subject at a time, because the thing here is that one point, it doesn't exist independently of 1,000 other points. And they don't exist independently of 1,000 other, it just goes on. They are all interlinked together. It's like the brain. Like how one neuron doesn't exist independently of the whole brain, right? Every neuron is connected to all the other neurons. Just like in brain science, they say some neurons, like some cell bodies have over 10,000 connections. It's absolutely incredible. It's something like that. Each of these words here in the Vachanamrut main text and in these footnotes, they have thousands of connections. I would say hundreds of thousands, maybe millions, as far as the scriptures are concerned. That is how extensive all of this is in reality. Otherwise, the common villager in Gujarat has also read Vachanamrut and gets enlightened. That is the blessing, special blessing of God. That's something that is so amazing. Somebody can just hold Vachanamrut. There are even those who just do pujan of Vachanamrut. They don't even know how to read Gujarati. They might go to the temples, do some pujan, archan, arti, whatever. They hold it as a revered text, do pradikshana. There's even something called Vachanamrut Jayanti. There is a day in the year, I have to look up the exact date, that is called Vachanamrut Jayanti. And in many Swaminarayan temples, there's a lot of devotion, and there's actually pujan done of the scripture itself. Like how in the Gurudwaras you have the Guru Granth Sahib, and so much pujan is done, so much respect, pradikshana and arti, and all the same kind of thing they do in the Swaminarayan temples, in certain Swaminarayan temples of the Vachanamrut Granth itself. And every Swaminarayan devotee is given a command, an agnya, to read at least one of the discourses, one Vachanamrutam every day. Whether you understand it or not, but to read one every day. This is like one of those, basic agnyas. Anyway, the reason I'm mentioning that is because it's super interconnected. It's not just interconnected with all the other scriptures and all. Every sentence has unbelievable interconnections. That's what I'm trying to show here, that this sentence that these commentators have written about the word dhyan, the way Maharaj has used it in terms of bhakti marg, see all the pieces connecting here. That is the power of Shri Vachanamrutam. So I'm going to go through this again and see where it takes us. Bhakti marg ma dhyan etle Bhagwan ni murti nu ekagrata purvak chintan. Again, one who is a devotee, one who is a bhakta, that itself is a big stage. Somebody could just be a scholar, a spiritual student or something. That's okay. That's good. But a bhakta is a different matter. Bhakta means one who has internally, emotionally accepted the Ishtadevata or Guru or Bhagwan in a particular form and is devoted towards the Lord. Towards God. I'm using the word Lord. This is a Judeo-Christian word. But I can still use it here also. It's fine. Towards God. Towards Bhagwan. Again, these words, we could try to separate them out a bit more. But the way the word Bhagwan is also used, Maharaj is using it, of course, in terms of the 6 Aishwaryas, the 6 Bhagas. That's the word, the one who has those 6 qualities, opulences. That is called a Bhagwan. That's a generic way to understand the word Bhagwan. But Bhagwan, the way Maharaj is using it, Shriji Maharaj is using this word, he's using it to refer to that ontological tattva that is beyond Akshara Brahma, that is called Aksharatit Paramatma, that ontic realization, that ontic being is what he is talking about when he uses the word Bhagwan. He's not using it simply in terms of the 6 Aishwaryas. It's not simply that. Now, hold on one moment. I'm going to hit pause. Okay, so, of course, the word Bhagwan is profound and significant. It does refer to the Supreme Being, but entomologically, through entomology, how is this word used? So, Bhagavan is a Sanskrit term derived from the word Bhaga, B-H-A-G-A, which refers to divine glory, splendor, virtue, fortune. So these are some of the qualities that are used here. Let me see. I'm just looking this up again. There's a whole bunch of stuff here, but there's actually 6 of them. So glory, splendor, virtue, and fortune. That's 4 out of. There's 2 more. I think Virya is one of them. Just hold on one moment. Okay, so I think I got it here. Let me see. The 6 main opulences. That's what they're called. Okay, so that is beauty, knowledge, strength, wealth, fame, and renunciation. This is what they are. See, so many people don't know this, but the word Bhagavan, technically, in Sanskrit itself, it means one who possesses the 6 opulences. And these opulences are beauty, meaning Saundarya, extraordinary beauty, all comes from God, of course, but even an individual who is just a human being who has all 6 of these at the highest levels can be called Bhagavan, although that is not the way Maharaj is using that word. And usually, one should refrain from calling himself or anybody else, just a human being, as Bhagavan. But technically, it means one who has the 6 bhagas. So this is what they are: beauty, knowledge meaning Gyan, strength meaning this Bala, wealth meaning the Shri, wealth, not just physical, but not just material wealth, but all kinds of wealth, fame, and renunciation. This is how this has been described traditionally, and that is a very interesting starting point to understand this, because those qualities even great individuals may have, those qualities even saints have, those qualities even many individuals who've reached great stages in life can have. So let's go through those 6 of them just for the moment. Since we're talking about it, I did want to record this because Maharaj is talking about the Murti of God. But before we get to that, this is some of the background on this. So the beauty is what? Bhagavan, meaning applied to the Murti of God, to the manifested form of God, and to the Paramatma in the divine abodes. Beauty, meaning Bhagavan is described as supremely beautiful, with an appearance that is enchanting and divine, surpassing all worldly standards. How amazing. Whatever standards we have in our minds through our senses, God surpasses them, meaning the form, the eternal Chaitanya Vigraha form in Goloka, in Vaikuntha, in Shvedvipa, in the different abodes of God, in the Akshardham itself. That beauty is surpassing all worldly standards. Okay, this is the beauty point. The second point is knowledge. Bhagavan has complete knowledge of everything past, present, and future, along with a deep understanding of all living entities and cosmic laws. Now, this is all described in Vachanamrut also. This is called Ek Kala Vichinna, and by the power of God, everything is known all at one time, because God is beyond time, right? So everything is known with the deep understanding of all living beings and cosmic laws. Not just an understanding of that. Understanding of that is one thing, but also the giver of the laws, the giver of all of the cosmic laws, etc. So as this commentator has written here, the Ekagrata Purvak Chintan, when we try to contemplate on the glory of God, starting with these 6 opulences is a good place to begin. And then to meditate on that, to think about that, to see that, and that increases devotion towards God, increases devotion towards Ishtadevata. So that is the second point, knowledge. That is Gyan. Third is strength. This includes not just physical strength, but the supreme power over all forces, both material and spiritual. The lordship, the strength. That is actually what is meant by the word Swami or Swamin. Swaminarayan, in its original meaning, has this meaning that Narayana is the Swamin, the Swami of everyone, everything, which is the lordship. Swami doesn't mean people wearing turbans and different clothes and different orange clothes and white clothes. That's not its meaning. People call them Swamis and all that. But that is there as a respect because they are on the path towards realizing the ultimate Narayana, that ultimate reality. That is why out of respect in the Sanatana Dharma, they are called Swami. But they are not Swami. Swami is only Narayana. Bhagwan Narayana, that Paramatma, you can say Narayana or you can use some other word if you want, for that one and singular being that is Parabrahma. You can say the word Parabrahma or Aksharatit. You see, Purushottam is also used. Why that is used, we'll talk about some other time, about what is the Purushas and the Purushottam. We'll go into that later on. Different words are used, different names are used. In fact, Shatanand Muni, one of the sages of Shriji Maharaj, incorporated a stotram that is called Sarva Mangala Namavali. I have it at my house. If you come here, I'll show it to you. And there is a description, one line by line, word by word, explanation of each of the names of Shriji Maharaj that were composed by Shatanand Muni. It is called Sarva Mangala Stotram. And from that, the Janamangal Stotram was extracted. 108 names were extracted, and that is called Janamangal Stotram. You see, again in there, there are words like Om Swamine Namaha, Om Narayanaya Namaha. For Maharaj himself. Of course, we have Vishnu Sahasranam. So, Vishnu Sahasranam is from the Mahabharata. That is for Bhagwan Vishnu. So, a parallel Sahasranam that is called Sarva Mangala Namavali, there is also 1000 names. That is created by Shatanand Muni for Shriji Maharaj, for Bhagwan Swaminarayan. And that is called Sarva Mangal Stotram. And it is absolutely extraordinary. Absolutely fantastic. And one of the names that is given for Maharaj himself, because the Paramahansas considered Shriji Maharaj as Narayana, or as the human manifestation of Narayana. Now you can look at that in a couple of different ways. One way is that they're considering their Sadguru as Narayana, which is certainly a possibility, and that was also the case. And then there's also is recognizing the human manifestation of Narayana in the form of the Sadguru. The original Swaminarayan Arti, the original Arti of Maharaj written by Muktanand Swami, is this Jaya Sadguru Swami, Prabhu Jaya Sadguru Swami, Sahajananda Dayalu, Prabhu Jaya Sadguru. And it goes on like this. My point is that there are multiple ways to try to understand and to examine what is Narayana, who is Narayana, and it is a very, very interesting point. Simply because there are no limitations to that. It is possible to consider that all beings have Bhagavan Narayan within them. Yes, but Shriji Maharaj has cautioned against such an idea. I'm going into some other direction here. I don't want to go in that, but might as well just continue for a while and see where it takes me. Maharaj has stated that there are those who say every male and every female is only Narayan. No doubt, from the enlightened stage, that is not wrong. But Maharaj has stated that by making such a statement, those who have vasanas, they start getting into all of these vasanas of different kinds, thinking that everything is just Narayan. Then what difference does it make? You don't have to follow any rules, no ethics, no morality, nothing is needed. Do any which way you can just act. Do anything. It's only Narayan that is there. You see, but this is not acceptable. This is not how this should be understood. Even Ramakrishna Paramahansa cautioned against this point. Even though Ramakrishna Paramahansa believed in religious determinism, which I don't want to go into right now, but there's a cautionary statement in Vachanamrut on this point. The cautionary statement is that you start considering everybody as Narayana, and it happened like this. In Gujarat it happened throughout India. And it happens in all the other religions also, where certain spiritual leaders, certain spiritual gurus, or so-called gurus or whatever, they start getting into all of these vasanas, thinking it's all God's Leela, it's all sab Krishna Leela. They do anything with anybody. This happened in many sampradayas in India. It probably goes on today also. So Maharaj is totally saying no to that. That if you can, yes, God exists everywhere and within everyone. That up to that point is okay, but if you consider just the vasanas and your egotistical nature and all that, that is also part of Narayana, or that is also completely okay. Then what happens actually? Maharaj says that Jivatma winds up in the hellish regions, Narkaloka, because of the degradation of psychological consciousness below Muladhara Chakra into the lower yonis and all that, due to the enhancement and increase of asat vasana, using spiritual, quote, spiritual ideas. The amazing clarification is there in Vachanamrut. Amazing clarification. This level of clarification is difficult to find. It's there. Great sages have definitely discussed. But Vachanamrut, the power of it is such. 262 talks. Out of a span of 10 years, 273 talks. If you add the additional 11 from the Narnarayan Dev Gadi, that is called Vadharana Vachanamrut. There's additional 11 are there in Ahmedabad. 273. Let's say 273. Extraordinary clarification on the most esoteric, most tenuous subjects, and the practicality of the spiritual path, where problems that have occurred over thousands of years, that so-called sannyasis have created, so-called commentators or other, the difficulties that they have created by misinterpreting and misunderstanding the scriptures based on their own ego. Somebody like for example, Sarvam Kalvidam Brahma. In Vedas, this clarification, extensive clarification, is there on these points. Someone will say, yes, the Brahman is everywhere. But who is qualified to make such a statement? And we can make it. It's all right. As a student, as a study, as a sadhak, that's okay. That's fine. But one who has panchvartman, jiske जीवन में panchvartman, nishkam, nirlobh, niswad, nirman, nisneha, one who is not attracted by position and by wealth and by disciples and by different positions, and one who is not trapped by all those things, one who is not trapped by the sexual vasana, one who is a true brahmachari, one who doesn't possess any wealth for himself out of the ego current, only uses everything, only 100% for the benefit of the world. Such a person is qualified to utter the Mahavakyas of the Upanishad. This is inside the Vedas. In my study, in my humble opinion, and somebody can correct me if I'm wrong, I have not found that criteria anywhere else. Nobody has talked that level of criteria. The Maharaj has emphatically stated that unless you have all these qualities, this is just all big talk in the air. Aham Brahmasmi and Tattvamasi, and many people have talked a lot about it. Maybe they have some experience, they've written thousands of books about it. It's a big zero. They have no anubhav. Anubhav hi nahi hai kuch. Big talk, zero anubhav. Maharaj is talking about anubhav. Iska anubhav kijiye. He wants to take us to the anubhav level. In Loya, I guess it's Loya number, oh boy, I forgot the number. Maybe it's Loya 7 maybe. Not 100% sure. I'll look it up and see. Indriya Antakaran Anubhav Poche Anuvachanam. Vachanamrut mein kya likha hai? Maharaj what is he saying? That go to the anubhav level. Simply repeating these Veda mantras, Veda mantras, fine to repeat them. But the Upanishadic mantras particularly, there's quite a few who have repeated them and have, that are even worshipped as great scholars or great sages, but they are internally attached to the forces of Maya, which is exactly the whole point over here. And as long as that internal entanglement is there, there is a blockage in the anubhav of the Brahman. Akshardham, Gopalan Swami said in Gujarati, Jene stri, dhan, man, motapni asakti che, ene swapnam apan Akshardham nahi dekha hai. Bade sant the. He was a great enlightened saint of Maharaj. Gopalanand Swami, Sadguru Gopalanand Swami, who had mastered this Ashtanga Yoga, and he said that as long as these material attachments are binding the individual, doesn't matter how many scriptures, pravachans, and anything anybody may have done, written million books or million commentaries, even in the dream, in sapna mein bhi kabhi bhi Brahma ka darshan nahi hota. Sapna mein bhi nahi hota. See, this is the criteria. Big talk. In Sanatan Dharma, lot of big talk. Fine, it's good, nothing wrong. Very little anubhav. Why is that? बहुत थोड़ा अनुभव है किसी को भी. Because of the constant binding of Maya. And cannot realize the Mahavakyas, cannot realize the Brahmic state, cannot get a glimpse even of the Brahman, as long as we are afflicted by Kam, Krodh, Lobh, Moha, Matsar, Asha, Trishna, Irsha, Ahankar, Rag, Dvesh, Chal, Kapat, back and forth, pulling, harming others to progress ahead. Forget about that. Nobody can realize the Brahman that way. If there is even the slightest desire to hurt anybody or to damage anybody and to progress further, the doorway to moksha is permanently closed. It's closed. It cannot be opened until that quality is transformed. That is why Kapil Dev Ji in the Kapil Gita has also stated, moksha dvaram apavrutam prasangamajaram pashmat manaho kavayo viduhu sa eva sadhu shukruto moksha dvaram apavrutam. The saintly qualities beyond raga, dvesha, aham, mamatva. The entire Bhagavad Gita is about this, to go outside the ego current, and until and unless that is done, these are all big talk. Lot of big talk, that's all. And it dies there. And the person is also reborn. It's okay. It's good to do that. Even right now, Sachin is talking. It's important to talk. But the purpose of talking, the purpose of contemplation, is to ask the highly enlightened sages and Bhagavan himself to bless us with the saintly qualities, to go beyond the ego current, to go beyond the limitations, to go beyond the vasanas, to bless us to go beyond that, so that we can absorb without breakage, without any deficiency, and with ekagrata purvak, with complete connection with Paramatma, without any disturbance, distraction of any kind. Then we can detect Maya and we can leave it on the side. It is a detection and reconnect. Is detection of what is Maya, retracting from those objects, not destroying them, leave them alone where they are, and reconnecting with Paramatma. And by the way, there's another very critical point. The only person Sachin has to see in this is Sachin. I have to be very careful in talking about these things. Because the danger here is to find faults. The danger in talking about, studying all of these ideas, one of the things that can easily happen, I think I have understood this. I understand. See, it's very easy to see the bondages of others and then to find their faults. And if I start doing that, I'm lost. Then the doorway for moksha, doesn't matter how many hours of these recordings Sachin does, it means absolutely zero. It means nothing at all. Shriji Maharaj in Vachanamrut Garada Pratham 6 has talked about Viveka. Let's go into that. I just want to give it as a reference. What an amazing stuff is there actually. Hold on one moment here. If I can figure out how to go back to this. Where is this? Okay, there it is. Hold on one second here. I just need to open this real quick. The title is Viveki Aviveki. There's a sentence here that I'm going to read here. Okay. Just a moment here. So Shriji Maharaj himself is speaking this. In Gujarati, it is written, I'm going to see if I can just find the proper sentence here. Yeah, there's a lot of stuff involved in this, but hold on one moment here. So in the beginning he says here, આ સત્સંગમાં જે વિવેકી છે તે તો દિવસે દિવસે પોતાને વિશે અવગુણને દેખે છે. See, let's just stick to that first part of that line. It's like the whole thing is one massive line actually. It's actually just 2 lines. Just a 2-line answer. What he's saying here is that in satsanga, we're not talking even about the outside world. Outside world is lost, first of all. They're just blindly running among three things. You know what they are, right? Kanchan, Kamini, Kirti. And I'm going to, by the way, expound on this as it is, without any dilution. No, zero dilution. Kanchan, Kamini, Kirti. Hat, Man, Irsha. Kam, Krodh, Lobh. This is called sansar. Itna hi sansar hai. 3. Kanchan, Kamini, Kirti. Desire, the lobe of money. Not money. Money is a power. Mahalakshmi. If you use in the right way, Mahalakshmi. If used for just ego, finished. They're trapped inside this jail. Kanchan, Kamini. Kamini doesn't mean women here. It should be understood as Stri Purush Asakti. The male, female, or LBGTQI. You can include all that in there also. The sexual desires that people are running after like mad. That's the second thing. And the third thing is position. I want to be in some position and power. When Kanchan and Kamini are there, meaning with the sexual desire and the enough money is there, the person starts roaming after position. This is the ignorance of the people living in this jail that is the sansar. That is why it is called Durga, and Durga Devi is in charge. And everybody is trapped in it except for enlightened sages. A to Z, everybody is trapped in these 3. And if you want to go into the Akshardham beyond the Sahasrara Chakra, one has to put a big cross on all of these. That is the cross of the Jesus. Cross it out. Kanchan, Kamini, Kirti, Hat, Man, Irsha. These are Gujarati words. Hat means whatever I want it right now. I'm not ready to I'm totally inflexible. Hat. Man means my ego. And Irsha is jealousy. If somebody is progressing further beyond us, we are jealous. Not we, but this is the sansari, jisko in Gujarati mein kehte jagat na jeev. There's 2 differences here. Jo Bhagwan ke bhakt hai, Bhagwan na bhakto, that is one direction. The other is this sansar, Garbhavas, Lakchorashi, Yampuri, back and forth. That is the second. There's only 2 paths. There's no third path. One path leads to moksha, into the dham of God. That will come in the next paragraph, in fact. Muktanand Swami's question about what happens when the body is left. And then the second path is go into the Devlok, come back into this world, go into the Narkalok, go back and forth into different yonis, back and forth, without any end. Until Krupa occurs. Until some saint comes, enlightened being comes and blesses the world as they are present today, then the pathway opens up. Moksha Dwaram Apavrutam. This is as it is in this Swaminarayan spirituality recordings. Sachin here, by the grace of all the gurus, is going to put this as it is. Zero dilution. Whether somebody understands or not, accepts or not, is up to them. This is what Maharaj has taught. That's my whole intention here. And this is what the Sanatana Dharma really teaches also. Now see, Kanchan, Kamini, Kirti, Hat, Man, Irsha, Kam, Krodh, Lobh, which is in the Gita. Talked about this in the Gita. This is itna hi sansar hai. Sansar is this 3. And when we leave all 9 of them aside, that is where the Nav Durga opens up. See, these 9 are left and these other 9 goddesses come. That is the Shakti. The divine Shakti, Divya Shakti begins to droop inside. It droops. It is Amrut Bindu, the dropping of the drops of nectar inside the mind of the devotee. The goddess drops all the nectar drops. All 9 forms come inside. Leave these 9 aside and then these other 9 come. That is the grace of Mahamaya. So when Sriji Maharaj is here talking about the entanglements of Maya, that is these first 9. Kam, Krodh, Lobh, Hat, Man, Irsha, Kanchan, Kamini, Kirti. That is the avidya Maya. And that is the sansar and the entrapment. As Chaitanya Mahaprabhu talked about, that is the lower power of Sri Krishna Bhagavan. In the Achinta Bheda Bhed Tattvagnan. It's amazing stuff actually. But then, hold on one moment here. I just need to fix this here. Okay. But when Maharaj is talking about the Murti of God, to go into the Murti of God, the 9 goddesses, the Navadurga, they bless the devotee, and all of that energy that is going into avidya Maya is transmuted into vidya Maya, and then she will completely change everything around so that the devotee the bhakta can reach Paramatma without any obstacle or obstruction. And that is the grace of Mahamaya. It's absolutely incredible. Where to begin? There's no end to all this thing. It is absolutely endless. Now, there's a couple of points here that I wanted to get into, which I never even got to actually. So hold on one moment here. Okay, so we have this one footnote line here that Bhakti Margma Dhyan etle Bhagwanni Murtinu Ekagrata Purvak Chintan. I want to mention a couple more points about this. Chintan means what? One thought after another intersects with the previous thought. Thought is the chintan is more cognitive activity. So first of all, the bhavna of bhakti bhav that is there, but chintan, one concept connected to another, you're interlinking it within. It is also the chintan of the charitra. Bhagwan, the charitra meaning the lila charitra of the incarnations of God. That is all discussed in Vachanamrut Garada number 3. Garada Pratham number 3. So Chintan is of the spiritual ideas and teachings, that one type of Chintan. Another is the Lila Charitra Chintan. The other is the form itself and the relational Chintan. It's like somebody who is in love with somebody they're going to get married to. They see their picture, they have their picture on their phone and different, the pics and all that, and they keep seeing these pictures again. That is a type of chintan, the seeing again and again, thinking again and again, remembering again and again, the remembrance again and again of the beloved. That's an idea in the Christianity, the beloved with a capital B, that God is the beloved of the devotee, of the penitent, of the repentant. Amazing ideas there in Christianity. We'll have to create a special series of recordings on Christianity in the future. Amazing. It's all intersects together. Now, there's one more point here. There's 2 more points here that I want to mention. And Yogiji Maharaj used to talk about this, about Dhyan. And so the Guru Parampara in the BAPs have given their own perspective on some of this. And though it's explained to the devotees in simpler way, these ideas. So Yogiji Maharaj, it is written in Gujarati, Yogiji Maharaj Dhyan no maulik arth karta kehe. He's meaning Yogiji Maharaj used to speak in one of his own ways of explaining this. Maulik meaning his own natural, more easy to understand, coming right from inside of him. Everything came right from inside in Puja Yogiji Maharaj. So he explained it this way: Bhagwan ane santana mahimano vichar karvo te dhyan. This is a very interesting definition. This definition, we could spend many hours on this one line only. This is Yogiji Maharaj, and the reference they have given is from the 3rd volume. I guess it's page number 720. What does it mean? Let's translate it. He's saying the glory. Mahima means glory. The contemplation on the glory of God, meaning Bhagwan, and the saints of God. Bhagwan ke sant. Bhagwan ane santana mahimano vichar. To contemplate the glory of God who is in front of me, the sages that are in front of me, to think about that, to utilize our mental capacity and emotional capacity in connection, that unbroken contemplation on the glory aspect, the glorious, that is called Mahima. Now, how to do this, how much to do this, when to do this, why to do this, and what is Mahima, what is the meaning of this word actually, and what Yogiji Maharaj is referring to. It's like this, and before I close here right now, what I would say, because it's already 3:34, I do want to say this, that if you have, and I've given this example before, if you have $1 billion check with you and is going to be cashed a year from now, you will not forget where that is or what you have. It's not cashed yet. The date is dated 1 year from today, 4/19/2025. But you cannot forget where it is, even when you're walking, dreaming, thinking, sleeping. At every second of every day, you will not forget. You will think about that, what to do, when to deposit, how to deposit it, and where to go, and what you will do once you get the deposit. But you cannot lose that, so you keep it safe. And it doesn't matter where you are. You will put 50 locks in your door. Maybe put it in a vault and do all those kinds of things, and check it every single day to make sure nobody's taken it, and be afraid to even leave the house without it. Isn't it so? This is called in Gujarati Prapti no Mahima. What have I obtained? What has been given to me? What have I gotten in front of me? That is Bhagavan himself, through the incarnations and different ways, different forms, etc. And until and unless we contemplate on that, it is just a piece of paper. It's very little experiences there. One is working a minimum wage job, but the person has been given $1 billion check that'll be cashed a year from now. That person may still do the job because they need money until they do that. That is sadhana. Once you have cashed in the check, all sadhana ends. That is sakshatkar. And let's stop here for now. Otherwise, we will never be